After creating the test for the formatSeconds function, it's time to create the test for the function that uses formatSeconds function. It's formatSecondsWithSign function. As we can see, besides calling formatSeconds function, it also has this ternary expression to determine which sign should be used. So let's start with copying all the logic from the previous test, paste it into the first one, and in here we just have to change a few things. Of course, we are testing different function with the name formatSecondsWithSign, so let's rename all these occurrences. And of course, after checking the test results in the terminal, we can see that we have a mismatch, because our new function is adding sign in front of the formatted string. So let's use proper expected values in here. I'm going to add plus sign in front of every string. And there we go. After doing this change, test is passing. And now let's switch back to implementation of this function and remove the ternary expression to check if the test is going to fail now. And it is. Now let's revert this change and remove this second part of this ternary expression. I'm gonna remove the minus and check what happens with the test. And as we can see, it is passing because right now we are only checking the first part of the ternary expression, which adds plus sign. But what about the minus sign? It is important to check all possible paths that function execution can go through. So we're going to do the same set of assertions in here, but in this case we're going to check if the minus sign has been added to the formatted string. And the minus sign is going to be added only if we're going to pass negative value of seconds into each of these function calls. So I'm going to use negative values everywhere and expect that formatted string will contain minus in front of it. So now we only have a problem with the first call of this function when we were passing 0 with negative sign. In this case, formatted string will still contain plus sign. As we can see, this ternary expression checks if passed value of seconds is greater or equal to 0, it is going to use plus. And that is why we have to use plus sign in front of this string. In this way, all expectations are passed. But here is the thing. After testing the function formatSecondsWithSign, we also implicitly tested formatSeconds function, which is called inside formatSecondsWithSign. So technically, we could just remove the test for formatSeconds function. But having tests for each individual functions has its benefits, because let's see what is going to happen if we're going to break this function in some way, check the test results. In this case, we're getting an error related to the first call of formatSecondsWithSign function. But we didn't change this function, we only have changed the function which is used inside of this formatSecondsWithSign function. So to get more precise feedback regarding of which function is actually broken, it's better to have tests for each individual function. Since we do the second test, which tests formatSeconds function, also fails. But if we would go ahead and remove this test, the only thing we would know after looking at failing test is that something has actually went wrong during formatSecondsWithSign function execution. So to be able to identify the root cause of the problem, we would have to spend a little more time. And that is why I'm going to keep both of these tests, even that having these two tests means that we're going to test formatSeconds function twice. Link to the source code of this lesson will be as always in the video description.